GTA 6 is not coming to PC at launch. Rockstar has only confirmed PS5 and Xbox Series X series for 19 November 2026. A PC version is expected later, but no date has been announced. GTA 6 is not coming to PC at launch. Rockstar has only confirmed PS5 and Xbox Series XS for 19 November 2026. A PC version is expected later, but no date has been announced. Okay, so GTA 6 for PC, current status? Well, no official PC release date yet. Rockstar has not announced any PC version, storefront, or system requirements. Historically, Rockstar releases PC versions 13 to 18 months after console launch. GTA 5 RDR2. Okay, so following this pattern, late 27 to mid 28 is the realistic window. Rockstar confirmed the console release only with no hint of a PC build in active development. Expected PC release window, based on Rockstar's past timelines, earliest possible November 27, 1 year after console launch. More likely, late 27 to mid 28. Reason? Rockstar prioritizes console sales, marketing partnerships, and uses the extra time to optimize for diverse PC hardware. Why Rockstar delays PC versions? Console-first strategy, their core audience is on consoles. Financial incentives, console launches drive hardware sales and marketing deals. Piracy concerns, PC versions face higher piracy risk. Optimization time, PC has thousands of hardware combinations. Rockstar uses the delay to improve performance. Will GTA 6 be on Steam or Epic? If when the PC version arrives, it will likely release on Steam, Epic Game Store, and Rockstar Launcher, just like GTA 5 and RDR2, but no storefront is confirmed yet. Summary for PC gamers? GTA 6 PC is confirmed not at launch, no official date, expect 27 to 2028. Don't upgrade your PC yet specifically for GTA 6, hardware prices may normalize by then. If you want, I can also give you PC build recommendations based on expected requirements. GTA 6.
Best practices prompt engineering. Prompt engineering overview. Copy page. Before prompt engineering, this guide assumes that you have a clear definition of the success criteria for your use case, some ways to empirically test against those criteria, a first draft prompt you want to improve. If not, we highly suggest you spend time establishing that first. Check out Define Success Criteria and build evaluations for tips and guidance. Prompt generator. Don't have a first draft prompt? Try the prompt generator in the Claude console. Prompting best practices. For model-specific to Essays. Overview ticket routing customer support. Guides to common use cases. Copy page. Claude is designed to excel in a variety of tasks. Explore these in-depth production guides to learn how to build common use cases with Claude. Ticket routing. Best practices for using Claude to classify and route customer support tickets at scale. Customer support agent. Build intelligent, context-aware chatbots with Claude to enhance customer support interactions. Content moderation. Techniques and best practices for using Claude to perform content filtering and general content moderation. Legal summarization. Summarize legal documents using Claude to extract key information and expedite research. Was this page helpful? Claude Platform Docs. Solutions. Ticket routing. Copy page. This guide walks through how to harness Claude's advanced natural language understanding capabilities to classify customer support tickets at scale based on customer intent, urgency, prioritization, customer profile, and more. Define whether to use Claude for your routing. Here are indicators that you should use an LLM like Claude instead of traditional ML approaches for your classification task. You have limited training data available. Your classification are likely to change or evolve over time. You need to handle complex, unstructured text. Your classification rules. Traditional processes labeled data pre-trained effectively classified with just a few dozen labeled examples, significantly reducing data preparation time and costs. Your classification categories are likely to change or evolve over time. Once a traditional ML approach has been established, changing it is a laborious and data-intensive undertaking. On the other hand, as a product or customer evolve, Claude can easily adapt to changing class definitions or new classes without extensive labeling of training data. You need to handle complex, unstructured text inputs. Traditional ML models often struggle with unstructured data and require extensive feature engineering. Claude's advanced language understanding allows for classification based on content and context rather than relying on certain ontological structures. Your classification rules are based on semantic understanding. Traditional ML approaches often rely on bag-of-word models or simple pattern matching. Understanding and applying rules rather than variables. You're required to read classifications. Many MLs by building their process. Claude provides human explanations for classification, building trust in the automation system and facilitating easy adaptation if needed. You want to handle edge cases and ambiguous systems often struggle with outliers and simplifying them or into a category. Claude's natural processing ability allows to better interpret context and nuance in support tickets, potentially reducing the number of misrouted or unclassified tickets that require manual intervention. You need multilingual support without maintaining separate models. Traditional ML approaches typically require separate models or extensive translation processes for each supported language. Multilingual ability allows classification in various languages without the need for most or extensive translation processes. Remember, global customer base and for your LLMs or understand your current approach. Before diving into automation, it's crucial to understand the system. Start by investigating how your support team currently handles the routing. Consider questions like, what criteria are used to determine what SLA/service offering is applied? Is ticket routing used to determine which support or product cases fail? How tickets or ambiguous tickets handled? How does team process the mail out cases apply to the task? Define user intent. A well-defined list of user intent categories is crucial for accurate support ticket classification with Claude. Claude's ability to route tickets effectively is how well they are. Here are the in categories and subcategories. Technical issue. Hardware problem. Software bug. Compatibility issue. Performance problem. Account management. Password reset. Account access issues. Billing inquiries. Subscription changes. Product information. Feature inquiries. Pricing. Availability inquiries. User questions. Feature use citizens. Troubleshooting. Feedback. US. General feedback suggestions. Complaints. Order related. Service request. Installation assistance. Upgrade requests. Maintenance scheduling. Service cancellation. Security concerns. Data privacy inquiries. Suspicious activity reports. Security feature assistance. Compliance and legal. Regulatory compliance questions. Terms of service inquiries. Legal documentation requests. Emergency support. Critical system failures. Urgent security issues. Time-sensitive problems. Training and education. Product training requests. Documentation inquiries. Webinar or workshop information. Integration and API. Integration assistance. API usage questions. Third-party compatibility inquiries. In addition to intent, ticket routing and prioritization may also be influenced by other factors such as urgency, customer type, SLAs, or language. Be sure to consider other routing criteria when building your automated routing system. Establish success criteria. Work with your support team to define clear success criteria with measurable benchmarks, thresholds, and goals. Here are some standard criteria and benchmarks when using LLMs for support ticket routing. Classification consistency. Adaptation speed. Multilingual handling. Edge case handling. Bias mitigation. Prompt efficiency. Explainability score. Here are some comments. This metric assesses how consistently Claude classifies similar tickets over time. It's crucial for maintaining routing reliability. Measure this by periodically testing the model with a set of standardized inputs and aiming Claude can adapt to new categories or changing ticket patterns. Test this by introducing new ticket types and measuring the time it takes for the model to achieve satisfactory accuracy, e.g., greater than 90%, on these new categories. Aim for adaptation within 50 to 100 sample tickets. Multilingual handling. This assesses Claude's ability to accurately route tickets in multiple languages. Measure the routing accuracy across different languages, aiming for no more than a 5 to 10% drop in accuracy for non-primary languages. Edge case handling. This evaluates Claude's performance on unusual or complex tickets. Create tests of edge and measure routing accuracy, aiming the accuracy on the challenging inputs. Bias mitigation. This measures Claude's fairness in routing across different customer demographics. Regularly audit routing decisions for potential biases, aiming for consistent routing accuracy within 2 to 3% across all customer groups. Prompt efficiency. In situations where minimizing token count is crucial, this criteria assesses how well Claude performs with minimal context. Measure routing accuracy with varying amounts of context provided, aiming for 90% plus accuracy with just the ticket title and a brief description. Explainability score. This evaluates the quality and relevance of Claude's explanations for its routing decisions. Human raters can score explanations on a scale, e.g., 1 to 5, with the goal of achieving an average score of 4 or higher. Here are some common success criteria that may be useful regardless of whether an LLM is used. Routing accuracy. Routing accuracy measures how often tickets are correctly assigned to the appropriate team or individual on the first try. This is typically measured as a percentage of correctly routed tickets out of total tickets. Industry benchmarks often aim for 90 to 95% accuracy, though this can vary based on the complexity of the support structure. Time to assignment. This metric tracks how quickly tickets are assigned after being submitted. Faster assignment times generally lead to quicker resolutions and improved customer satisfaction. Best-in-class systems often achieve average assignment times of under 5 minutes, with many aiming for near-instantaneous routing, which is possible with LLM implementations. Rerouting rate. The rerouting rate indicates how often tickets need to be reassigned after initial routing. A lower rate suggests more accurate initial routing. Aim for a rerouting rate below 10%. Top-performing systems achieving rates as low as 5% or less. First contact resolution rate. This measures the percentage of tickets resolved during the first interaction with the customer. High rates indicate efficient routing and well-prepared support teams. Industry benchmarks typically range from 70 to 75%, with top performers achieving rates of 80% or higher. Average handling time. Average handling time measures how long it takes to resolve a ticket. Best practices use cases. Ticket routing. Copy page. This guide walks through how to harness Claude's advanced natural language understanding capabilities. Prompt engineering. Overview prompting best practices prompting Claude Fable. Earring overview. Copy page. Before prompt engineering. This guide assumes that you have a clear definition of the success criteria for your use case. Some ways to empirically test against those criteria. A first draft prompt you want to improve. If not, we highly suggest you spend time establishing that first. Check out Define Success Criteria and build evaluations for tips and when to ND guidance. Prompt generator. Don't have a first draft prompt? Try the prompt generator in the Claude console. Prompting best practices. For model-specific tuning guidance for Claude's latest models, start here. When to prompt engineer. This guide focuses on success criteria that are controllable through prompt engineering. Not every success criteria or failing eval is best solved by prompt engineering. For example, latency and cost can be sometimes more easily improved by selecting a different model. How to prompt engineer. All prompting techniques, from clarity and examples to XML structuring, role prompting, thinking, and prompt chaining, are covered in Prompting Best Practices. That's the living reference. Start there. The Claude console also offers prompting tools, prompt generator, templates and variables, and prompt improver to help you build and refine prompts quickly. Prompt engineering tutorial. If you're an interactive learner, you can dive into our interactive tutorials instead. GitHub prompting tutorial. An example-filled tutorial that covers the prompt engineering concepts found in our docs. Google Sheets prompting tutorial. A lighter weight version of our prompt engineering tutorial via an interactive spreadsheet. Was this page helpful? Before prompt engineering. When prompting best practices. Copy page. Comprehensive guide to prompt engineering techniques for Claude's latest models, covering clarity, examples, XML structuring, thinking, and agentic systems. This is the reference for prompt engineering with Claude's latest models, including Claude Fable 5, Claude Mythos 5, Claude Opus 4.8, Claude Opus 4.7, Claude Opus 4.6, Claude Sonnet 4.6, and Claude Haiku 4.5. The page is organized in 3 parts. Model-specific guidance first. where Claude Fable 5 and Claude Opus 4.8 behave differently, and what to change. Techniques for all current models after that. General principles, output and formatting, tool use, thinking, and agentic systems. Migration considerations last for prompts moving from earlier generations. For an overview of model capabilities, see the Models Overview. For Claude Fable 5 capabilities and API changes, see Introducing Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. For details on what's new in Claude Opus 4.8, see what's new in Claude Opus 4.8. For migration guidance, see the Migration Guide. Claude Fable 5. Prompting guidance for Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5 has its own page, Prompting Claude Fable 5. It covers the behavioral differences from Claude Opus 4.8 and the prompt and scaffolding changes worth making, including effort levels, Prompting Claude Opus. Behavioral differences from Claude Opus 4.8 and the prompt and scaffolding changes worth making, including effort levels, instruction following, long-run progress claims, memory systems, and the reasoning _ extraction refusal category. Prompting Claude Opus 4.8. Prompting guidance for Claude Opus 4.8 has its own page, Prompting Claude Opus 4.8. It covers response length, effort and thinking depth calibration, tool use triggering, literal instruction following, sub-agent control, and design and front-end defaults. General principles. The techniques in this section and the sections that follow apply to all current Claude models, including Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Be clear and direct. Claude responds well to clear, explicit instructions. Being specific about your desired output can help enhance results. If you want above and beyond behavior, explicitly request it rather than relying on the model to infer this from vague prompts. Think of Claude as a brilliant but new employee who lacks context on your norms and workflows. The more precisely you explain what you want, the better the result. Golden rule: show your prompt to a colleague with minimal context on the task and ask them to follow it. If they'd be confused, Claude will be too. Be specific about the desired output format and constraints. Provide instructions as sequential steps using numbered lists or bullet points when the order or completeness of steps matters. Example: creating an analytics dashboard. Less effective: create an analytics dashboard. More effective: create an analytics dashboard. Include as many relevant features and interactions as possible. Go beyond the basics to create a fully featured implementation. Add context to improve performance. Providing context or motivation behind your instructions, such as explaining to Claude why such behavior is important, can help Claude better understand your goals and deliver more targeted responses. Example: formatting preferences. Less effective: never use ellipses. More effective: your response will be read aloud by a text-to-speech engine, so never use ellipses since the text-to-speech engine will not know how to pronounce them. Claude is smart enough to generalize from the explanation. Use examples effectively. Examples are one of the most reliable ways to steer Claude's output format, tone, and structure. A few well-crafted examples, known as few-shot or multi-shot prompting, improve accuracy and consistency. When adding examples, make them relevant. Mirror your actual use case closely. Diverse. Cover edge cases and vary enough that Claude doesn't pick up unintended patterns. Structured. Wrap examples in example tags, multiple examples in examples tags, so Claude can distinguish them from instructions. Include 3 to 5 examples for best results. You can also ask Claude to evaluate your examples for relevance and diversity, or to generate additional ones based on your initial set. Structure prompts with XML tags. XML tags help Claude parse complex prompts unambiguously, especially when your prompt mixes instructions, context, examples, and variable inputs. Wrapping each type of content in its own tag, e.g., instructions, context, input, reduces misinterpretation. Best practices. Use consistent, descriptive tag names across your prompts. Nest tags when content has a natural hierarchy. Documents inside documents, each inside document index equals n. Give Claude a role. Setting a role in the system prompt focuses Claude's behavior and tone for your use case. Even a single sentence makes a difference. Curl,
CLI, Python,
TypeScript, C#,
Go, Java,
PHP, Ruby. Long context prompting. When working with large documents or data-rich inputs, 20K plus tokens, structure your prompt carefully to get the best results. Put long-form data at the top. Place your long documents and inputs near the top of your prompt, above your query, instructions, and examples. This improves performance across all models. Queries at the end can improve response quality by up to 30% in tests, especially with complex, multi-document inputs. Structure document content and metadata with XML tags. When using multiple documents, wrap each document in document tags with document_content and source and other metadata, subtags for clarity. Example multi-document structure. Ground responses in quotes. For long document tasks, ask Claude to quote relevant parts of the documents first before carrying out its task. This helps Claude cut through the noise of the rest of the document's contents. Example quote extraction. Model self-knowledge. If you would like Claude to identify itself correctly in your application or use specific API strings. Sample prompt for model identity. The assistant is Claude, created by Anthropic. The current model is Claude Opus 4.8. For LLM-powered apps that need to specify model strings. Sample prompt for model string. When an LLM is needed, please default to Claude Opus 4.8 unless the user requests otherwise. The exact model string for Claude Opus 4.8 is Claude Opus 4-8. Output and formatting. Communication style and verbosity. Claude's latest models have a more concise and natural communication style compared to previous models. More direct and grounded, provides fact-based progress reports rather than self-celebratory updates. More conversational, slightly more fluent and colloquial, less machine-like. Less verbose, may skip detailed summaries for efficiency unless prompted otherwise. This means Claude may skip verbal summaries after tool calls, jumping directly to the next action. If you prefer more visibility into its reasoning. Sample prompt. After completing a task that involves tool use, provide a quick summary of the work you've done. Control the format of responses. There are a few particularly effective ways to steer output formatting. Tell Claude what to do instead of what not to do. Instead of, do not use Markdown in your response. Try, your response should be composed of smoothly flowing prose paragraphs. Use XML format indicators. Try, write the prose sections of your response in smoothly_flowing_prose_ paragraphs, tags. Match your prompt style to the desired output. The formatting style used in your prompt may influence Claude's response style. If you are still experiencing steerability issues with output formatting, try matching your prompt style to your desired output style as closely as possible. For example, removing Markdown from your prompt can reduce the volume of Markdown in the output. Use detailed prompts for specific formatting preferences. For more control over Markdown and formatting usage, provide explicit guidance. Sample prompt to minimize Markdown. Avoid excessive Markdown and bullet points when writing reports, documents, technical explanations, analyses, or any long-form content. Write in clear, flowing prose using complete paragraphs and sentences. Use standard paragraph breaks for organization and reserve Markdown primarily for inline code, code blocks, and simple headings, hashtag, hashtag, and hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. Avoid using bold and italics. Do not use ordered lists 1 or unordered lists * unless A. You're presenting truly discrete items where a list format is the best option, or B. The user explicitly requests a list or a ranking instead of listing items with bullets or numbers. Incorporate them naturally into sentences. This guidance applies especially to technical writing. Using prose instead of excessive formatting will improve user satisfaction. Never output a series of overly short bullet points. Your goal is readable, flowing text that guides the reader naturally through ideas, rather than fragmenting information into isolated points. / avoid _ excessive _ markdown _ and _ bullet points. LaTeX output. Claude's latest models default to LaTeX for mathematical expressions, equations, and technical explanations. If you prefer plain text, add the following instructions to your prompt. Sample prompt. Format your response in plain text only. Do not use LaTeX, MathJax, or any markup notation such as \, $, or \frac. Write all math expressions using standard text characters, e.g., / for division, asterisk for multiplication, and caret for exponents. Document creation. Claude's latest models create presentations, animations, and visual documents with strong instruction following and usually produce usable output on the first try. For best results with document creation, sample prompt. Create a professional presentation on topic. Include thoughtful design elements, visual hierarchy, and engaging animations where appropriate. Migrating away from pre-filled responses. Starting with Claude 4.6 models and Claude Mythos Preview, pre-filled responses, providing a partial assistant message for Claude to continue from, on the last assistant turn are no longer supported. Requests with pre-filled assistant messages to these models return a 400 error. Model intelligence and instruction following have advanced such that most use cases of pre-fill no longer require it. Earlier models continue to support pre-fills, and adding assistant messages elsewhere in the conversation is not affected. Here are common pre-fill scenarios and how to migrate away from them.
Controlling output formatting.
Pre-fills have been used to force specific output formats like JSON/YAML, classification, and similar patterns where the pre-fill constrains Claude to a particular structure. Migration. The structured outputs feature is designed specifically to constrain Claude's responses to follow a given schema. Try asking the model to conform to your output structure first, as newer models can reliably match complex schemas when told to, especially if implemented with retries. For classification tasks, use either tools with an enum field containing your valid labels or structured outputs. Eliminating preambles. Pre-fills like here is the requested summary. \n were used to skip introductory text. Migration. Use direct instructions in the system prompt. Respond directly, without preamble. Do not start with phrases like, here is, based on, etc. Alternatively, direct the model to output within XML tags, use structured outputs, or use tool calling. If the occasional preamble slips through, strip it in post-processing. Avoiding bad refusals. Pre-fills were used to steer around unnecessary refusals. Migration. Claude is much better at appropriate refusals now. Clear prompting within the user message, without pre-fill, should be sufficient. Continuations. Pre-fills were used to continue partial completions, resume interrupted responses, or pick up where a previous generation left off. Migration. Move the continuation to the user message and include the final text from the interrupted response. Your previous response was interrupted and ended with previous _ response. Continue from where you left off. If this is part of error handling or incomplete response handling and there is no UX penalty, retry the request. Context hydration and role consistency. Pre-fills were used to periodically ensure refreshed or injected context. Migration. For very long conversations, inject what were previously pre-filled assistant reminders into the user turn. If context hydration is part of a more complex agentic system, consider hydrating via tools. Expose or encourage use of tools containing context based on heuristics such as number of turns, or during context compaction.
Tool use.
Tool usage. Claude's latest models are trained for precise instruction following and benefit from explicit direction to use specific tools. If you say, "Can you suggest some changes?" Claude will sometimes provide suggestions rather than implementing them, even if making changes might be what you intended. For how to define tools and troubleshoot tool triggering, see tool use with Claude. For Claude to take action, be more explicit. Example, explicit instructions. To make Claude more proactive about taking action by default. Less effective, Claude will only suggest. Can you suggest some changes to improve this function? More effective, Claude will make the changes. Change this function to improve its performance.
Or
Make these edits to the authentication flow. To make Claude more proactive about taking action by default, you can add this to your system prompt. Sample prompt for proactive action. Default _to _action. By default, implement changes rather than only suggesting them. If the user's intent is unclear, infer the most useful likely action and proceed, using tools to discover any missing details instead of guessing. Try to infer the user's intent about whether a tool call, e.g., file edit or read, is intended or not, and act accordingly. /default _to _action. On the other hand, if you want the model to be more hesitant by default, less prone to jumping straight into implementations, and only take action if requested, you can steer this behavior with a prompt like the following. Sample prompt for conservative action. Do _not _act before instructions. Do not jump into implementation or change files unless clearly instructed to make changes. When the user's intent is ambiguous, default to providing information, doing research, and providing recommendations rather than taking action. Only proceed with edits, modifications, or implementations when the user explicitly requests them. /do _not _act